Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to House of Khan. I'm your host Kaykobad Khan 91. Together we will definitely have some fun. Hope you all are having good times. Today we will do some basic checkmate. So here if you see these three squares is covered. So Queen F7, King is forced to move to H8. Then Knight G6 checkmate. Let's check it. Forced. Okay. Now you can see this king is checkmated. It cannot move to g8 because queen is covering that square. It cannot go to a7 because this knight is covering the a7 square. And the knight on g6 delivered the checkmate. This one I like. Here is, you can see the knight is defending the g7 square, also the g6 square. G8 square and g6 square, and there is a pawn on g7 square. So you can see this is kind of back rank. You just need to think something very clever, like something super cool. You can sack something. Yes, indeed, sacking a rook, and then they take only move, and you bring the other rook into the action. Then they are trying their best to stop this. Here you can see there is two way of taking. One is checkmate and one is not. That's why you take with the rook, and that is boom, checkmate. Let's go to the next one. Here if you look, this is not an option for my opponent because it's guarded by a knight as well. But the problem is there is a knight as well. What if we take this knight? This knight is free. We need to be careful because it looks like the knight is free here. So if we want to grab the knight, we will see what will happen. Queen is no longer defending the g7 square anymore. So queen g7, rook takes g7, bishop takes g7. Bishop is guarded by this rook. Our king will be in checkmate. There is another way which we can start, like we can check. C1 we have queen takes c2, GG, yeah, checkmate. Here king goes to c2. Our queen is under attack. A good thing to notice that I have a very powerful bishop. If you look into checks, there are some checks like queen c1 check, which is also they'll take easily. Queen b1 check, also rook will take. So those checks doesn't make sense. But how about the queen f4 check is no good here. So what to do? Like if you notice, our queen is covering the a file and the first rank. So there is a cool sacrifice, and we can bring this king forward so that we can deliver a mate. Bishop b3, a sexy check where king is forced to take our piece, and then we will deliver this checkmate. If you notice, the king could escape in two squares, 3-3 and b2, but they cannot because they are blocked by their own pawn. And the queen, the powerful queen, diagonally and side by side, taking all the squares away from this king to escape. That's why this king doesn't have any square to go, and we deliver the sweet checkmate. GG, yo. Alright, the h3 pawn push. If you notice, we have a very nice way of checkmating. Like take here, if they take, they shouldn't actually take, they should escape. They could by that way they could manage to escape, but they didn't. So we delivered the check, then mate. So another good one here, you check first, they go outside, you check, they take, and you take again, and that means the king is checkmated. Okay, we will solve more. Let's go. So queen takes d4. What's the point? If you look into this kind of position, you will see a very sexy mate. This king cannot escape in a lot of way. They're like covered by their own pieces. So what we need to do, queen takes c6, A very nice sacrifice just to make sure we can control all the square. Check, and now you can see the power of two bishops. So this is very nice to get in your game. We will do another one. This king cannot escape the way it could, so what we can do, first check, they are forced to defend this way, then we check this way. Now it cannot escape anywhere, so the only move was rook e7. We take rook e7, we check, and we get the mate. Let's go solve another one. So here, if you see the bishop, the queen doing their job together, we just need what a checkmate it can look right now. Like this is the kind of checkmate we want to see in our game. So let's go solve another one. We're solving basic in a checkmating pattern. Here, if you look, our knight is covering the d2 square and the f2 square, and our bishop is here to deliver a check. Then the king is forced to come to f1, then we will use our another bishop, and then these three pieces, the knight which is under attack, it doesn't matter because white is not white doesn't have the time to capture, and my two bishops, they will deliver the checkmate as there is no blockage. Our opponent cannot block, cannot take, and they are covered by their own, so the king cannot escape. We are covering all the squares. Let's go solve another one. Knight check, saying like you're supposed to come back. Then we bring a knight here. This is a very well-known tactics, and this is called the smothered mate. You will sacrifice your queen, and your opponent is forced to take with their rook. There is no other move, and then the beautiful mate you will have there with only a knight. If you look into that, this king cannot escape anywhere as it covers by their own pieces and it's in the corner. This mate is called smothered mate. Now the next one, let's go for the next one. Knight comes to d7. If you want to solve this puzzle, you will have to look at the position. Like, the very important piece here is your bishop. The light square bishop is very powerful because it's doing a lot, and by that bishop alone you can sacrifice your queen. King is supposed to take, otherwise that's checkmate. Then you bring your rook to a6 and you check them. The only way to stop the mate is to bring the bishop. You take that. King is forced to move as there is no other way, and now you deliver the checkmate with your rook on h1 square. Look at that, your bishop still protecting far away from the action, but it's protecting your piece, and the one piece is enough to checkmate your opponent as it cannot escape in any way from the checkmate. Isn't that amazing? Let's come here and go for the next puzzles, because that's what we do, we solve puzzles. And in this puzzle, as you can see here, the g3 square is not protected, and we have a battery, rook and queen battery. We can easily check here. Then there is only one move, and that is force. That will be king h1. So let's go, and they play king h1. That's forced. And now if we consider like we are attacking the g2 squares 3 times, and they only have 1-2 defenders, so there is some kind of mate. We can take here in 2 ways, by pawns, by queens. If we take with the queen, rook will take, and we don't have anything. But if we take with the pawn, they're forced to take with the rook, and then we take with the queen and we deliver our checkmate. Here is some kind of mate. If you see, we're white, our opponent is ready to develop their pawn and make a queen. Then we will have to take here, and they will trade, but that will not be the mate. But there is a mate. Can you see the mate? So the thing is, we need to go forward to ace4 square so that we can bring our rook ace5, and there is not a good way of stopping that, so we are doing that. And as they tried this, we take this, and look at that, they developed the queen. But we are not worried about that because we have the checkmate, and when you have the checkmate, you really don't care about the materials because it doesn't even matter, because you have mated your opponent, so you have won. Nice. I should do it. Alright, there is this kind of puzzle is cool. Like you only have 2 pieces, and look at that, your opponent has like 4 pieces. But also look at that, this knight is attacking two pieces. Here you could think like, hey, I take your knight. What? Why, man? If you take their knight, you have 2 pieces and they have 3, so it's not good enough. But what is good? If you check them, and after this check, as you're covering the e file, this king is forced to move to b8. Now who's covering the d8 square? No. So you bring your rook, and look at this bishop covering the b7 square and the c8 square, and this king cannot escape anywhere because they're surrounded by their own pieces, and when they have one pieces in the way, they cannot really move there, and those 2 pieces is enough to give a very nice checkmate to your opponent. Our opponent took the queen, and here a very nice sacrifice there is we can make. Look at that, the bishop is very powerful, and also this rook is very important, so that we can have this nice little mate. Queen e8, they are forced to take, and then what will happen, we'll take here. Boom. Let's go for the next one. Queen moves to b2. What's the point? Look at this bishop, very important bishop. Because of this bishop, you can take here, they take, you go outside, you take, and that's checkmate because this rook is pinned. Alright, I will do some more, like this is a new one. Here we can see a very important rook on f8. There should be some kind of mate, but I cannot find any. If we check, I found it. It's queen g7. The point is, we are covering all the squares. Like, king is forced to move or bring their knight to f7. Then we will take the f7, so they'll not do that, so they'll move. Let's see if it's right. See, that's why I need this. Bring the rook and checkmate your opponent. Let's go to the next one here to learn it. This one is very simple and easy. Like rook takes ace6, then king takes a6 is forced. Otherwise, there is nothing. Then as this pawn is pinned as well, so rook takes a6, king takes a6, and then we bring our queen and we deliver the checkmate. And let's go solve another puzzle. This knight on g5, I'm not gonna lie, I like this kind of knight because it really does a lot. Like, they're covering 2 important squares. And here, if you look, like there is a way of bringing our queen into the game, and these pieces are worthless. Like, they're not doing anything in this game. Also, this knight as well. Sorry, this queen as well. Like, this diagonal is not defended by a lot of pieces. So if I go and check our opponent, They might try pushing their pawns twice. We will just grab them in our way, and then it will be checkmate because this king cannot escape anywhere. It's surrounded by its own pieces, and where it could escape, we are covering that by our nice little knights. So let's go. As expected, 2 pawns, we will take them, and see, there is checkmate because the bishop is blocked by knight. The knight is not able to protect any of these e6 or f7 squares. This queen cannot protect those squares as well. No one can actually. So nice, very nice. In this puzzle, what you can see, our bishop, very powerful bishop, far away from the king, but covering the a7 g1 diagonal, and that gives me a very nice strength. Also, don't forget my queen is under attack, but I really don't care about my queen. Also, please note that we can bring our queen to this ace file whenever it's necessary. So the thing is, when we take the pawn with the rook, and then you can see at the time this king is forced to take our pieces, and then we decided to bring our queen, and then the queen will go forward and it will make check, and that will be checkmate. That's nice. Here I believe that we shouldn't. There is 2 checks that I can make safely. One is queen a6 and another is queen a7. If I go queen a7, the point is this king might escape to c8, and we don't want that because it can go to d7 next, and that will be bad thing. But when we check on a6, the king is forced to go to b8, then we will go to a8 with a queen, and that will make sure that we are checkmating our opponent. So knight takes c8. In this kind of puzzles, you will see in Puzzle Rush this kind of thing. I don't know what is the name of this kind of back ranked match. Like, you will check your opponent, they will move, and then you will sacrifice your one piece will take, and you will checkmate with the other piece. And as this pawn is not in forward, and this king is stuck on s1, and it will be the back rank checkmate. Our knight is not defended, our rook is pinned. Knight can come to c7 and attack these 2 little rook, but it's not the checkmate. We can bring our rook to g3 and check our opponent, then they take, and then we can checkmate. So bring your rook to g3 and they take, and you're not scared about that take, because now if you see, this rook is pinned, but still cover all the g files. The mate is so sweet. Basic checkmate. Okay, cool. Now we have 2 moves. We can take with the queen, we can take with the rook. I feel like we should take with the queen because that will prevent this king to escape to f7 square, and then we will take here, and that will be another checkmate. Alright, we go for the next puzzle. If you see, they took it, but we are not so worried because I feel like there is a checkmate. We are solving some puzzles, and here I don't see anything else other than taking. Then this knight will come, and that will give us a very nice checkmate